call last year in regards to that budget, the 2024-2025 budget that of course caused uproar and of course loss of so many lives. But the question you're asking this morning as well is, what do these numbers mean to them? We're looking at a 4.2 trillion Kenyan shilling budget. If you round it off, it comes to around 4.3 trillion Kenyan shillings. Of course, I've had your panel talking about us being over-ambitious with this, but do our young people really think that we're over-ambitious? Are we living beyond our means? And that is the questions, among the questions that we're asking them this morning. My panel is already in studio with me. So good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I trust you're well. I'll just start with you, Moses, now that I've listed all your names just for the basis of familiarity. But what do these numbers really mean to you, Moses, just to start us off? If we're looking at 4.3 to round it off as the average Kenyan, you're trying to survive in this high cost of living economy. Your views are equally just as important in regards to this year's budget, the 2025-2026 budget. What does these numbers mean to you?
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Moses Maina. Yeah, I wear many hats. First of all, I'm a young entrepreneur. I run a company called Silmer Yatas, property management company. And to me, these numbers are just a bit crazy. And actually, it's somehow the government is trying to play games with us. You know, they're trying to, include a lot of things. But at the end of the day, they're increasing the tax base. Therefore, for example, I would want to answer that question, referring to the exact finance bill, or rather the exact crowds. For example, personally as a business person, which is affecting me. We have changes to the deductible expenses and tax carry forward, whereby in the past, if you start a business and you incur losses in the first years, for example, you can use those losses. When you now start making profit, you can now offset the losses, and therefore means the amount of money that will be taxed will be a bit lower. That will encourage you even to continue investing, believing that in as much as you make losses in the very first years, in the future, you will not be taxed much, because whatever you made, the losses that you made will be able to be offset by the profit that you made. But now, in the finance bill that we have, they have put a 5-year gap. If I make losses and I don't make enough profit to offset the losses in the 5 years, they will expire. That means if I start making profit in the 6th year, all my whole profit will be taxable. That means they're not putting into consideration, the losses that I made. Therefore, that is actually somehow, demotivating me, because for us who are starting businesses, and everyone knows running a business currently in Kenya is so hard. Therefore, most of the businesses are meant to make losses in the very first year before they become stable. Okay, so that was one of the crowds that is affecting me. Number two, as a young person, and most of our young people, work, have a lot of hassles in the software, because the government itself has failed to give us jobs. So most of us probably are trying to, hustle in the software industry, whereby in the digital platforms. And currently, we can see there's now, the redefinition of royalty to include the distribution of software to the distributor, whereby you find there's now the introduction of the withholding tax. This will affect, me as a person who deals with most of the time, who does his hustles in the online platform or in the digital platform. So to me, it's one of the major things that are affecting me, and they're somehow putting it in a way that people will not see it, but when you read it in broad and as a young person, you understand now, ini mchezo tu inaendelea hapa. At the end of the day, I'm meant to pay more. And if we are paying more and you are seeing changes, or rather there are some positive things that the government are doing, that would be okay. But in the other hand, you're paying more, there's this introduction of these all taxes, but there's nothing the government can stand and say, we have done this and this, we have created these jobs in the manufacture. There's nothing they can be proud of. Yes.
All right. Now, Moses, just to remain with you on that point, you've raised a very, very critical point. But you as an entrepreneur, what would support look like for you in regards to, when the government is coming up with this budget? We're looking at allocation